Hey everyone, I'm Daniel with Twinstar Telescopes, and in this video I'll be showing you how to set up Twinstar's 50mm refractor telescope in just about 10 easy steps. This setup guide will show you everything step by step. Alternatively, a similar printable guide is available for you at our website, twinstar-telescopes.com. Without further ado, let's get started. Inside the box, you'll notice that everything is packaged separately, and I'll go ahead and take everything out of the box and show you on the table, just set it out for display. In the first long box, you're going to have your tripod, and it's going to come with a handy moon chart. In your second long box, you're going to find your telescope tube itself. And the small box contains two eyepieces here, and also a prism and the finder scope, as well as a microfiber cloth that you can use to wipe away any of the dust particles or anything else you might encounter as you're setting everything up. It just takes a few minutes to set up everything and install the tripod, so we'll start with that. Once you've got your tripod in your hand, you'll notice at the bottom there's three levers. Go ahead and start flicking those up and let the legs fully extend, like so. Once that happens, flip the levers back down to lock the legs in place. Now you need to spread the legs apart and push down the center bracket here, just like so. And we're all set now for step 2. We'll be installing the telescope tube next. We'll first need to remove the telescope securing screw right here. Okay, so it's got a washer. You're going to want to grab the washer and start twisting it. Get it off. Alright, once it's off, take note of the tripod's mounting head here, and we're going to take and just sort of slide it on. You're going to have the viewing end of the telescope tube angled the same way the mount's angled. So once you've got it like that, take your screw and put it right back through the hole and replace the washer on the other side. Now when you tighten it, you don't want to get it too tight because you're going to want to be adjusting this from time to time. So just get it kind of snug, and that's about it. Once you've got that done, it's on to step 3. We're going to attach the finder scope. Now for this step, let's take a look at our telescope tube and start removing the finder scope nuts. These are located right here. And once the nuts are removed, go ahead and attach your finder scope and replace the nuts back in place. Now, notice that the skinny side of the scope is going to be going towards the back or the viewing end of your telescope, like so. So just align up the tracks there and replace your nuts. And we're done. Now you can adjust the finder scope by using the adjustment screws here to basically align the scope, and you want to do this after you're completely done assembling the telescope though. I'll explain this in a little bit more detail at the end of the video. For the next step, we'll need the angle prism. Now we're going to want to take a look at the viewing end of the telescope here. Notice that there's a small screw right at the end here on the main focusing tube. You're going to want to go ahead and insert the angle prism in place and then retighten this screw. So it goes kind of like this. You'll take the little bottom piece off, untighten the screw there, replace it here, and then tighten your screw up to keep that in place. So let's go ahead and attach the 20mm eyepiece now. And by the way, I recommend starting any observation with a 20mm eyepiece because it's the lowest magnification eyepiece, and it's actually much easier to find objects and really get them in focus with a 20mm eyepiece. And you can also see that it has a bigger opening. We call that the field of view than any other eyepieces, and it also makes it really easy to use. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and pop in the eyepiece into the prism. Let's remove the protective cover there. Loosen the screw a little bit, get our eyepiece out, and put it in, and then we'll retighten that little screw you see right there. And you're set. Now you're not going to want to tighten it up too much, just in case you want to set a different eyepiece in there. Now some of these telescopes come with a Barlow lens included, or you might have bought one yourself. And the Barlow lens is basically an add-on that increases the magnifying power of your 20mm eyepiece. So you can basically get bigger magnifications with the wider viewing angle of the 20mm eyepiece. That being said, it can be a bit tricky to use. So if you have one, you might want to hold off using it until you're a bit more experienced, or maybe had some more time practicing using your telescope. And basically the Barlow lens would go in between the main telescope tube and the angle prism, so it would basically extend this part right here. Okay, so back to the telescope. Now that the eyepieces are in place, your final step will be to align the finder scope with the main telescope. And the goal is going to be to have both the main telescope and the finder scope pointed at the same object. You're going to find this really easy to do during the daytime. Just point the main telescope at a stationary object about 50 yards away and use the adjustment screws here on the finder scope until it's pointed at the same object as well. And that's all there is to it. Your new TwinStar telescope is now ready to observe our beautiful night sky. Thanks for watching, everyone, and hope for clear skies.